The range was quiet that morning, the sun just peeking over the horizon, casting long narrow shadows across the meticulously arranged targets, a faint breeze stirring dust and debris along the firing lanes, and as other recruits shuffled nervously, murmuring to one another and checking their weapons with varying levels of confidence, a single figure stood apart, calm, composed, methodical, her dark eyes focused, muscles relaxed but ready, because this was more than just cleaning a rifle, it was preparation, ritual, and mental conditioning, and the whispers began almost immediately. She's just a woman, it can't be done. 3 perfect shots? Impossible. Watch her fail, and the instructors, usually stoic and impartial, exchanged skeptical glances, some barely able to mask their amusement, because in all their experience, hitting the bullseye 3 times consecutively with such precision was extraordinarily difficult, requiring years of practice, unwavering focus, and flawless control over every variable, none of which seemed likely in the small, unassuming figure meticulously checking her weapon, adjusting the scope, testing the trigger pull, and calculating every minor factor, from wind resistance to breathing patterns, with a patient intensity that seemed almost meditative, yet every second she spent was deliberate, every movement considered, and as the buzzer sounded, signaling the start of the first round, the air seemed to thicken with tension, every eye locked on her, skepticism practically vibrating through the atmosphere, and Lily's sharp shot. Matthews lifted her rifle, aligning the sights, exhaling slowly, her heartbeat measured but rapid, pulse steady, and with a single smooth squeeze of the trigger, the first shot rang out, piercing the silence and striking dead center of the bullseye, and a ripple of astonishment ran through the onlookers, gasps audible, whispered words of disbelief spreading instantly. Did she just? That's dead center. No way. While she didn't flinch, didn't react to the astonishment, simply reloading, checking her aim, adjusting her stance slightly, and preparing for the second shot, and as that second round fired, again hitting perfectly, the reverberation seemed to echo through the range, jaws dropping, eyes widening, disbelief mingled with awe, the instructors themselves leaning closer to confirm what they were seeing, murmuring under their breath, "I've never seen anything like this. Her precision, it's uncanny. How is she controlling recoil and timing so flawlessly?" And the recruits, some muttering excuses, others shaking their heads, stared as if reality itself had shifted, because the shots were not just accurate, they were flawless, executed with instinctive control, the result of hours of meticulous practice, mental focus, and an almost unearthly awareness of her weapon and environment. And as she prepared for the third and final shot, the tension in the air was almost palpable, every breath held, every head turned, skepticism now replaced by incredulous attention. And with the same calm, deliberate focus, Lily exhaled, settled her stance, squeezed the trigger, and the third shot rang out, hitting dead center again, completing a perfect sequence, the clang of the target marking the final impact echoing long after the bullet struck, and the range fell into stunned silence, broken only by the echo of the shot and the faint shuffle of shocked feet. And in that silence, disbelief, admiration, and awe swept through every observer, some whispering frantically, "She did it, she actually did it. 3 perfect shots, impossible." She proved every single doubter wrong, while others simply shook their heads, silently acknowledging the skill and precision they had witnessed, and even the instructors, usually reserved and composed, could not contain their amazement, one murmuring, "She's rewriting the rules," another muttering, "I've never seen anyone with that kind of instinct and control." And as Lily lowered her rifle, her expression calm, almost serene, a faint, imperceptible smile touched her lips. Not arrogance but quiet satisfaction, the kind that comes from mastery, preparation, and focus, because the lesson had been made perfectly clear. Doubt, skepticism, and judgment meant nothing against skill, determination, and precision, and even as murmurs of awe filled the range, she knew this was only the beginning, that every future challenge, every doubting glance, every impossible task would now have to contend with her skill, her focus, and her unyielding composure. And as she walked back down the firing line, gears slung, rifle cleaned and ready, eyes bright and alert, her presence alone seemed to command respect, not through intimidation, but through the undeniable demonstration of ability, the proof that capability was not bound by size, age, or expectation. And her teammates, some still slack-jawed, began to exchange glances, realizing that their assumptions had been shattered, that their confidence in traditional metrics, strength, years of experience, stereotype, was irrelevant in the face of pure skill and focus. And even as whispers of "I can't believe it," and "she's untouchable," drifted through the air, Lily scanned the range with quiet authority, mentally cataloging every target, every sight line, every variable, Because the SEAL world, the real world beyond the range, demanded more than precision. It demanded foresight, anticipation, calm under pressure, and flawless execution in the midst of chaos, and she knew that her moment of proving the impossible had been successful. But it was not victory, it was preparation, a statement, a subtle warning that the storms to come would meet a force far beyond expectation. And while the crowd of recruits and instructors processed what they had witnessed, Lily's mind already shifted forward, envisioning the next challenge, calculating angles, trajectories, and strategies, aware that each step she took now carried weight, responsibility, and opportunity. And as the sun climbed higher, casting sharp lines of light across the range, her faint smile lingered, threaded with humor, confidence, and steely determination. Because the impossible had been shattered, 3 perfect shots had proven the doubters wrong, and the world beyond the range, the world of missions, challenges, and true tests of skill, was about to witness just how unstoppable she could be, leaving every observer inspired, astonished, and unable to shake the lingering question. What else could she do when no one believed it was possible? And as she walked toward the debriefing area, rifle slung, uniform streaked with sweat and dust, she whispered to herself, a quiet affirmation blending humor and steel. They said it couldn't be done, but I just did, leaving the entire range in awe, buzzing with energy, speculation, and respect, and setting the stage for every impossible feat, every unexpected victory, and every challenge that would come next. Because Lily's sharp shot, Matthews, had arrived, precise, fearless, and untouchable, her 3 perfect shots echoing as the first chapter in what would become a legend of focus, skill, and unshakable determination. The day after her flawless performance on the range, Lily's sharp shot, Matthews, was awakened before dawn by the shrill blare of the alarm. The SEAL compound still shrouded in a heavy mist, boots pounding against the cold concrete as recruits scrambled to gather their gear, tension electric in the air, because today was not about precision shooting, it was about movement, coordination, and quick decision-making under unpredictable, high-pressure scenarios. And as Lily checked her weapon, adjusted her load, and scanned the obstacle-strewn training grounds, she could feel the skeptical eyes of her peers burning into her back, whispers echoing in the corridors. She nailed the shots, but can she move under pressure? All that focus, how will it hold up in real scenarios? And even instructors cast measured glances, anticipation mixing with a hint of doubt, because the next stage of training would challenge everything she had demonstrated, from reflexes to strategy to leadership. And as the briefing began, the mission was laid out. A simulated hostile environment, multiple entry points, timed objectives, environmental hazards, and a team to lead through chaos. And almost immediately Lily's mind began mapping the terrain, calculating angles, predicting enemy maneuvers, and considering every possible contingency while adrenaline surged, muscles coiling, senses sharpening to hyper-awareness, because hesitation now could compromise not only her performance but the entire team's. And as the simulation began, the first obstacle emerged, a narrow corridor with a sudden drop on one side, smoke obscuring visibility, and simulated enemy fire erupting from concealed positions, forcing instantaneous decisions. Yet Lily moved with a combination of precision and intuition, signaling her teammates with concise gestures, directing their positions and neutralizing threats with fluid, rapid movements, vaulting, sliding, pivoting, and maintaining momentum while mentally tracking multiple variables, environmental hazards, and enemy positions, all at once, muscles straining, lungs burning, heart pounding, because this was no ordinary test. This was survival under pressure, and failure meant embarrassment, lesson learned too late, and lost credibility. And as she led the team through the corridor, a rival operative attempted to flank from an upper stairwell, forcing a sudden pivot, and with instinctive timing Lily countered, redirecting the movement of her teammates, neutralizing the threat, and maintaining the forward push toward the objective, while her peers watched, some struggling to keep pace, others awed, because her command, fluidity, and decisiveness left no room for error and no room for hesitation. And when the team reached the next segment, a half-collapsed building with unstable floors, mud-slicked ramps, and simulated obstacles designed to disorient, they were confronted with a critical choice. Split paths, high-risk direct assault, or slower, safer navigation. And in a heartbeat, Lily assessed risk versus reward, factoring timing, fatigue, threat density, and team capacity, issuing rapid, precise commands and guiding the team down a path that balanced speed with safety, neutralizing threats along the way, pivoting around hazards, sliding under beams, vaulting gaps, all while keeping team morale intact. And as the environment shifted, simulated ambushes erupted from multiple points, smoke thickening, alarms blaring, requiring split-second adaptation. Yet Lily responded instantly, reading the flow of combat, predicting enemy positioning, and adjusting strategy on the fly because in the SEAL world, instinct was only valuable when paired with decision-making and courage, and the instructors, observing from elevated positions, murmured in disbelief, whistles shrieking, radios crackling, notes scribbled frantically. Her situational awareness is beyond training. She's coordinating faster than anyone else could manage. I can't believe how calm and commanding she is. And as they reached the extraction point, a simulated high-value objective surrounded by unstable scaffolding and enemy positions, Lily calculated timing, spacing, and positioning perfectly, leading her team across, neutralizing threats, securing the objective, and ensuring every teammate moved in perfect synchronization. Muscles screaming, lungs heaving, heart pounding, mind operating at maximum clarity, because the smallest hesitation could have triggered failure. And as they cleared the zone, whispers of astonishment rippled through the observation area. She's leading like a veteran operative. Every move is calculated, precise, unstoppable. I've never seen that level of tactical command in anyone, especially not at her age. And even as the adrenaline faded, Lily's mind remained sharp, already evaluating what went right, what could have been improved, anticipating future threats, and planning for the next stage because mastery was continuous, not static. And as the team regrouped, mud-streaked, sweat-soaked, breathing heavy but morale intact, Lily allowed herself a fleeting, triumphant smile, humor and satisfaction threading through her gaze, knowing that she had turned skepticism into respect, doubt into awe, and a seemingly impossible scenario into a demonstration of instinct, leadership, and flawless execution. And yet even in victory, anticipation thrummed in her veins, because the SEAL training world was unpredictable, brutal, and relentless. And today's triumph was only the prelude to more complex, more dangerous, and higher-stakes challenges ahead. And as she adjusted her rifle, checked her gear, and signaled readiness for the next stage, she whispered to herself under her breath, calm yet fierce, "The impossible only exists until you make it real," leaving everyone watching inspired, astonished, and aware that Lily's sharp shot, Matthews, was not only skilled but unstoppable, untouchable, and ready to face any mission, obstacle, or rival the SEAL world could throw at her next, the storm within her only beginning to gather strength, momentum, and awe-inspiring force. The morning air was thick with tension, mist rolling across the SEAL compound as instructors announced the next simulation. A full-scale live-action engagement against a rival squad trained to be unpredictable, aggressive, and highly skilled, and Lily's sharp shot, Matthews, felt the familiar surge of adrenaline, muscles coiling, heart pounding, senses sharpening, because this would test everything she had learned so far: the precision, the leadership, the instinct, the ability to make split-second decisions under extreme pressure. And as she approached the staging area, she could feel the skeptical eyes of peers and instructors alike, whispers cutting through the fog. She did well on the range, but this is entirely different. No way she can handle real-time chaos like this. Let's see how she reacts when things actually move. Yet Lily ignored the murmurs, focusing on the task, scanning the terrain, mapping paths, noting cover points, angles of approach, and potential ambush zones. And as the buzzer signaled the start, chaos erupted immediately. Smoke cannons fired, simulated gunfire cracked, rival operatives moved with lightning speed through concealed positions, environmental hazards shifted without warning, and the team was forced to react, pivot, and adapt instantly. Yet Lily led with a calm authority that belied her age, issuing rapid, precise commands, directing teammates through tight corridors, around debris, over unstable platforms, neutralizing threats with surgical precision, and anticipating enemy maneuvers with almost uncanny foresight. Muscles screaming, lungs heaving, heart racing, mind operating on high alert because hesitation here could mean losing the simulation, or worse, creating mistakes that could cost her team's credibility. And when the first ambush erupted from an upper stairwell, one rival operative attempting to flank, Lily instantly countered, redirecting her team's momentum, neutralizing the threat with a swift, precise move, and pushing forward toward the next objective, all while maintaining perfect cohesion, team alignment, and operational efficiency. And as the environment shifted, a half-collapsed building with slick floors, scattered debris, and obscuring smoke, another challenge emerged. A rival operative attempting a daring maneuver across a narrow ledge above, forcing Lily to calculate timing, spacing, and angles in an instant, directing her team to avoid hazards, neutralize threats, and maintain forward momentum. And when she pivoted to cover an exposed teammate, a simulated projectile whistled past, missing by inches, and the tension intensified, lungs burning, muscles screaming. Yet Lily remained calm, instinct guiding her actions, while her teammates moved in near-perfect synchronization, inspired by her decisiveness, speed and clarity under pressure, and the instructors, observing from elevated positions, erupted in astonishment. Whistles shrieking, radios crackling, notes scribbled frantically. Her situational awareness is unmatched. She's predicting enemy movement before they make it. Unbelievable reflexes for anyone, let alone her. And as they advanced toward the extraction point, another layer of complexity emerged. Environmental hazards shifted dynamically, forcing them onto a narrow, slick platform with simulated explosive charges on either side, rival operatives attempting intercepts from above and below, requiring instantaneous tactical adjustments. Yet Lily assessed the situation in seconds, issuing precise commands, neutralizing threats, coordinating teammate movements, and moving forward with unmatched fluidity, vaulting, sliding, pivoting, and maintaining rhythm, muscles straining, lungs burning, heart racing, mind razor-sharp. And when the final extraction objective appeared, a simulated hostage atop a precarious ledge surrounded by unstable scaffolding and hostile operatives, Lily calculated every move, timing, spacing, angles, and team positioning with perfect clarity, signaling teammates, neutralizing threats, securing the objective, and guiding every member safely across, breath ragged, bodies slick with sweat and mud, hearts pounding, and the instructors, observing the entire simulation, could only shake their heads, murmuring disbelief. She's leading like a seasoned commander. Every move is precise, every decision flawless. I can't believe the instinct and calm she demonstrates under pressure. And even rival operatives, normally aggressive and competitive, were caught mid-action, frozen with awe at the seamless precision, coordination, and dominance she displayed, muttering under their breaths. We've been outmaneuvered at every turn. She predicted everything we tried. How is a 10-year-old leading this? And as the simulation ended, the fog lifted slightly, revealing the exhausted, mud-streaked team, breathing heavy, expressions of amazement, admiration, and respect etched on every face, while Lily lowered her weapon, allowing herself a faint, triumphant smile, not of arrogance but of quiet satisfaction, because she had demonstrated that instinct, preparation, focus, and leadership could overcome every obstacle, challenge, and expectation. And even as the adrenaline faded, anticipation and awareness surged through her veins, knowing that every real mission, every new challenge would demand more skill, faster thinking, and unwavering resolve. And with a soft, determined whisper under her breath, blending humor, courage, and steel, she said, "The impossible is only impossible until you move through it," leaving every observer inspired, astonished, and certain that Lily Sharpshot Matthews was unstoppable, untouchable, and ready for the next storm, the first real test against rivals, cementing her dominance, tactical genius, and unshakable composure, and hinting at challenges even more unpredictable, dangerous, and intense waiting just beyond the horizon, ensuring that her legend was only beginning to unfold. The fourth morning broke with an icy wind cutting across the SEAL training compound, fog curling over the rugged terrain as Lily Sharpshot Matthews stood alone at the starting line of her next trial, a solo survival and precision exercise designed to push every recruit to the edge of endurance, focus, and tactical ingenuity. And as the instructors laid out the parameters, a multi-stage course requiring navigation through dense woods, unstable cliffs, and treacherous river crossings while engaging targets, securing objectives, and avoiding simulated hazards, her heart began to race, not with fear but with anticipation, because this was no longer about teamwork, but about her alone, testing every skill she had honed, every instinct she had sharpened, and every decision-making process she had internalized. And as she checked her weapon, ensured her gear was properly fastened, and surveyed the terrain, whispers rippled through the observers hidden above, some skeptical, some amazed. She's proven her precision, but can she survive and excel alone? No way can anyone manage this without hesitation. Let's see if her instincts hold under isolation. Yet Lily ignored every doubt, focusing entirely on the path ahead, calculating distances, angles, environmental hazards, and potential obstacles. And when the buzzer sounded, signaling the start, she moved with immediate purpose, muscles coiling, lungs steady, mind razor-sharp, heart pounding, because every decision would have consequences, every misstep magnified. And almost immediately the first challenge emerged. A half-collapsed bridge over a fast-flowing simulated river, slick with mud and moss, testing balance, timing, and judgment, and Lily assessed it in an instant, calculating trajectory, center of gravity, and environmental conditions, vaulting with perfect precision, landing lightly, and continuing without pause, immediately encountering the next obstacle. A simulated hostile position with hidden targets and smoke obscuring sight lines, requiring acute awareness, split second calculations, and flawless execution. and as rival operatives simulated attacks from multiple directions, she countered, neutralizing each threat, pivoting, sliding and moving through the chaos with instinctive fluidity, muscles screaming, lungs burning, heart racing, because hesitation could compromise the mission or put her at risk, and as she advanced, the course shifted, forcing a critical choice between two paths: a high-risk, high-reward route with unstable ledges and environmental hazards, or a safer, longer route that delayed completion but ensured personal safety. And in an instant, Lily weighed timing, terrain, potential hazards and extraction requirements, making the decision to take the riskier path, moving with calculated precision, vaulting gaps, sliding under beams and neutralizing simulated threats along the way, while coordinating movement as if invisible teammates were following her lead, muscles tense, senses heightened, and as the environment became increasingly hostile, with simulated ambushes from multiple angles, falling debris and unpredictable footing, she responded with flawless instinct, maintaining rhythm, momentum and tactical precision, and instructors observing remotely murmured in disbelief. Whistles shrieking, radios crackling, notes scribbled furiously. Her situational awareness is beyond training. She anticipates every hazard before it occurs. Her balance of instinct, strategy and execution is unprecedented. And as the final stage approached, a narrow ridge lined with simulated mines, unstable scaffolding and enemy positions, Lily calculated timing, movement, and positioning with perfect clarity, moving across with surgical precision, neutralizing all simulated threats. Vaulting, sliding, pivoting, all while maintaining unbroken focus and perfect execution, muscles screaming, lungs burning, mind razor-sharp, heart pounding, and when she finally reached the extraction point, breath ragged, uniform streaked with mud and sweat, her eyes gleaming with quiet satisfaction, a faint, triumphant smile touched her lips, because she had completed the solo survival course flawlessly, turning every obstacle, hazard and enemy simulation into an opportunity to demonstrate skill, instinct and mastery. And as whispers of awe swept through observers and fellow recruits, murmurs of astonishment, respect and disbelief filled the air, she navigated that alone flawlessly. Her decision-making is beyond comprehension. I can't believe how calm and precise she was, and even the instructors, usually reserved, shook their heads, voices tinged with awe. She's a natural operative, instinctive, fearless and precise, while Lily, mud-streaked and sweat-soaked, allowed herself a quiet, satisfied chuckle, knowing that she had proven not just skill, but the ability to thrive under isolation, pressure and unpredictability. And as she scanned the terrain, adjusting her gear, preparing for the debriefing, she reflected on each decision, each maneuver, each instinctive choice that had carried her through the trial, understanding that mastery was continuous, cumulative, and demanded mental clarity as much as physical skill. And with a quiet, determined whisper threading through her words, humor and steel combined, the storm doesn't wait for permission, it moves, adapts and conquers, leaving everyone who witnessed her in awe, astonished and aware that Lily Sharpshot Matthews was unstoppable, untouchable, and ready for whatever the next challenge, the next mission or the next impossible test would demand, her legend growing with every step, every decision, and every flawless action, the storm within her only beginning to gather force and momentum, promising that the SEAL world had yet to see the full measure of her ability, anticipation and dominance. The sun had barely risen when the announcement came. A full-scale multi-team combined exercise, designed to push recruits beyond anything they had faced, combining simulated hostile engagement, high-speed maneuvers, environmental hazards and competing objectives. And Lily Sharpshot Matthews felt a familiar surge of adrenaline as she checked her gear, rifle clean, scope adjusted, boots laced tight, because this mission would test not only precision and instinct but leadership under chaotic, unpredictable circumstances. And as she approached the staging area, the tension in the air was palpable, whispers circulating among observers and fellow recruits. This is going to break her. No one can manage multiple teams and dynamic hazards simultaneously. Let's see if her instinct holds when chaos multiplies. Yet Lily ignored the doubters, focusing entirely on strategy, mapping terrain, anticipating rival maneuvers, and mentally calculating every possible contingency. And when the buzzer sounded, chaos erupted instantly, smoke cannons fired, alarms blared, rival teams moving unpredictably across unstable terrain, obstacles collapsing, simulated explosives detonating in random locations. And Lily reacted instinctively, vaulting, sliding, pivoting, coordinating her team with precision, neutralizing threats, issuing rapid commands, all while tracking enemy movements, environmental hazards and objective locations, muscles coiling, lungs burning, heart racing, mind razor Sharp, because hesitation here could compromise the mission, and the first clash occurred in a narrow corridor with unstable flooring and simulated hostiles positioned on multiple levels, requiring instantaneous decisions, and Lily adapted instantly, redirecting her team, neutralizing threats, using every angle for cover, moving in fluid synchronization, while rival teams scrambled to respond to her tactics, their eyes widening as they realized her foresight and control exceeded expectations. And as the exercise progressed, obstacles multiplied. Half-collapsed bridges over rushing water, slick mud-covered slopes, unstable scaffolding, hidden tripwires, and sudden ambushes. Yet Lily moved through it all with instinctive brilliance, making split-second calculations of timing, positioning, and risk, guiding teammates flawlessly, neutralizing simulated threats, pivoting, sliding, vaulting, coordinating every move with calm authority, muscles straining, lungs heaving, mind operating at maximum capacity, heart pounding, and instructors observing remotely were nearly speechless, radios crackling, notes scribbled frantically. Her situational awareness is unparalleled. Every move is precise, calculated, and perfectly executed. Her leadership under pressure is unmatched, and as the teams converged on the high-value extraction point, Lily faced the ultimate challenge. Multiple rival squads, environmental hazards, and dynamic objectives requiring instant decision-making. Yet she assessed the battlefield in seconds, issuing precise commands, predicting enemy movements, adapting strategy, coordinating her team with flawless rhythm, neutralizing threats, vaulting over gaps, sliding under beams, pivoting with perfect timing, all while moving toward the objective, muscles burning, lungs screaming, heart racing, mind sharp. And when she finally reached the final extraction point, guiding her team safely across unstable terrain, neutralizing the last simulated threats, and securing the objective, a collective silence fell over the observation deck, broken only by the muttered astonishment of instructors, murmurs of disbelief from rival teams and wide-eyed peers. She predicted every move, every decision flawless. She outmaneuvered every team simultaneously, and even the rival operatives, normally aggressive and competitive, could only stare in awe, muttering under their breath, "We've been outclassed at every turn. Her instincts are impossible. How does she maintain control under chaos like that?" And as Lily lowered her rifle, sweat-soaked, mud-streaked, muscles trembling, lungs heaving, eyes bright, a faint, triumphant smile touched her lips. Not arrogance but quiet satisfaction, because she had turned chaos into order, doubt into awe, and impossibility into reality, demonstrating that leadership, instinct, and strategic brilliance could overcome every obstacle, rival, and environmental hazard. And even as the adrenaline faded, anticipation thrummed in her veins, because she knew that every victory now carried weight, and every challenge to come would demand more skill, faster thinking, and unwavering resolve. And with a calm, determined whisper threading through her words, humor and steel combined, "Chaos is only a test and I move through it," leaving every observer inspired, astonished, and certain that Lily Sharpshot Matthews was unstoppable, untouchable, and ready for the next storm. The legend of her skill, leadership, and fearlessness growing with every impossible challenge, every flawless execution, and every victory under fire, promising that the SEAL world had yet to see the full measure of her ability, dominance, and relentless determination, as a subtle tension lingered in the air, hinting that more unpredictable, dangerous, and high-stakes scenarios awaited, ensuring that the next mission would test not only her skill but the full extent of her courage, leadership, and unshakable instinct. Night had fallen over the SEAL training compound, a thick darkness enveloping every obstacle, every tree, every drop of uneven terrain, with only the faint glow of distant lights marking the edges of the exercise zone. And Lily Sharpshot Matthews adjusted her night vision goggles, checked her rifle, silencer attached, boots silent on the cold, damp ground, and a shiver of anticipation ran through her spine, not from fear, but from the knowledge that tonight's exercise would test every ounce of her focus, reflexes, and tactical instinct, because operating in darkness removed the comfort of clear sight, magnified every movement, and forced reliance on intuition, spatial awareness, and split-second decision-making. And as the briefing concluded, outlining the mission, a nighttime extraction of a high-value target from a simulated hostile compound while rival teams roamed unpredictably, environmental hazards triggered dynamically, and simulated traps added at every turn, the tension among the recruits was almost tangible, whispers cutting through the air. "Night ops are brutal, no one moves well in darkness. Her precision is irrelevant if she can't see in the dark. Let's see if she freezes under pressure." Yet Lily blocked out every doubt, focusing entirely on the task, scanning terrain, memorizing layouts, predicting potential ambush points, noting cover positions and calculating angles, timing and movement with absolute clarity. And when the buzzer sounded, plunging everyone into simulated chaos, Lily moved like a shadow, muscles coiled, lungs steady, heart racing, senses heightened beyond normal, because in darkness, instinct ruled and hesitation could be fatal. And almost immediately, the first challenge appeared. An uneven ridge leading to the target compound, slick with dew and partially obscured by mist, requiring careful navigation, balance and silent movement, and Lily adjusted her stride, measured each step, signaling teammates with minimal gestures, maintaining rhythm and stealth, and as they approached the first perimeter, a rival operative attempted a silent flank from above, forcing Lily to react instantly, pivoting, neutralizing the threat with swift precision, and moving forward without breaking cover, muscles screaming, lungs straining, heart pounding, mind razor-sharp, because every second counted. And as they crossed the open courtyard toward the compound, another layer of danger emerged. Simulated tripwires, laser sensors and collapsing scaffolding, and Lily, reading every detail with near-superhuman awareness, guided her team flawlessly, avoiding hazards, neutralizing threats, and advancing with calm authority, and the instructors observing from the control tower could only shake their heads in awe. Radios crackling, whistles shrieking, notes scribbled furiously. Her situational awareness in darkness is unparalleled. She anticipates every threat before it occurs. Unbelievable nerve and precision. And as they reached the inner compound, rival teams launched simulated assaults from multiple directions, smoke bombs igniting, alarms blaring, visibility near zero. Yet Lily moved with surgical precision, neutralizing threats, coordinating movement, sliding under beams, pivoting, vaulting gaps, and advancing toward the high-value target, muscles tense, lungs burning, heart racing, mind operating at peak clarity, because hesitation or miscalculation could compromise the mission. And when they finally reached the simulated target, a secured, heavily guarded position, Lily calculated every move, angle, and position, leading her team in synchronized motion, neutralizing threats, securing the objective and preparing for extraction, while rival operatives scrambled to intercept, their movements predicted and countered with flawless instinct. And as they navigated back through the darkened compound, hazards shifting dynamically beneath their feet, debris collapsing and simulated explosives detonating unexpectedly, Lily maintained perfect composure, rhythm, and clarity, ensuring her team's safe exit, muscles burning, lungs heaving, heart pounding, mind razor-sharp, while observers, instructors, and even rival operatives watched in disbelief, murmurs of astonishment and respect echoing. She's leading like a veteran, every decision instantaneous, flawless. How does she remain calm and precise under total darkness? And as they reached the extraction point, Lily lowered her rifle, sweat-soaked, mud-streaked, muscles trembling, eyes bright with quiet satisfaction, a faint triumphant smile touching her lips, not arrogance, but acknowledgement of mastery over chaos, darkness, and unpredictability, because she had turned near-impossible conditions into a flawless operation, demonstrating skill, instinct, leadership, and unshakable nerve. And even as adrenaline faded, anticipation thrummed in her veins, knowing that every success now carried weight, that every mission would demand even more focus, speed, and decisiveness. And with a quiet, determined whisper under her breath, humor and steel threaded together, the night reveals everything, fear, hesitation, and weakness, none of which I carry, leaving every observer astonished, inspired, and certain that Lily's sharp shot, Matthews, was unstoppable, untouchable, and ready for any challenge the SEAL world could throw at her next. The darkness now conquered, tension lingering only as a subtle reminder that even greater threats and unpredictable variables awaited, promising that her legend, skill, and dominance were only beginning to unfold, with every shadow hiding a new test, every heartbeat marking anticipation for the next storm. Dawn broke with a crimson glow over the SEAL training grounds, the air thick with tension, the scent of gunpowder and adrenaline mingling as the instructors briefed the recruits on the ultimate test. A full-scale live-fire combined operation involving multiple teams, dynamic objectives, environmental hazards, and simulated civilian interactions, and Lily's sharp shot, Matthews felt her pulse spike with anticipation, muscles coiling, mind razor-sharp, because this would test every skill she had honed, from precision shooting to tactical leadership, from instinctive decision-making to rapid adaptation under extreme pressure. And as the teams took their positions, whispers and murmurs circulated among observers and fellow recruits. This is the final exam of skill, nerve, and control. No one has ever coordinated under live fire this effectively. Can she maintain composure when bullets and chaos collide? Yet Lily blocked out every distraction, scanning terrain, memorizing objectives, predicting rival movements, noting cover points and calculating angles, timing and strategy with absolute clarity, and when the alarm sounded, chaos erupted instantly. Simulated gunfire cracked from every direction, smoke canisters ignited, debris fell, rival operatives maneuvered unpredictably and environmental hazards shifted without warning, and Lily moved like a shadow, muscles coiled, reflexes firing, guiding her team with calm authority, neutralizing threats, pivoting, sliding, vaulting, all while anticipating enemy tactics, adjusting strategy on the fly, and keeping every teammate synchronized, because hesitation here could cost the mission or compromise team safety. And the first engagement erupted in a narrow alley with multiple levels, requiring instantaneous decision-making, and Lily adapted instantly, redirecting her team, neutralizing threats with precision, maintaining momentum and cohesion while rival teams scrambled, astonished at her foresight and seamless command, and as they advanced toward the high-value target, obstacles intensified. Collapsing scaffolds, unstable rooftops, mud-slicked ramps, simulated explosive hazards and hidden sniper positions, yet Lily navigated every challenge with flawless execution, calculating every step, coordinating movements, issuing rapid commands, and maintaining perfect rhythm, muscles straining, lungs heaving, heart racing, mind operating at maximum efficiency, and the instructors observing remotely were nearly speechless, radios crackling, whistles shrieking, notes scribbled furiously. Her situational awareness is unprecedented, every tactical decision instantaneous and flawless. Her leadership under live fire is unmatched, and as the teams converged on the target building, rival operatives launched multiple flanking attacks, smoke and debris obscuring vision, gunfire intense, yet Lily moved with surgical precision, neutralizing threats, coordinating team movement, pivoting, sliding, vaulting, and adapting strategy in real time, muscles screaming, lungs straining, heart pounding, mind razor sharp because every second counted and hesitation could mean failure. And when they reached the final objective, a simulated hostage surrounded by hostile operatives and unstable scaffolding, Lily calculated timing, spacing, angles, and team positioning perfectly, leading her squad in synchronized motion, neutralizing threats, securing the objective and preparing for extraction. While rival operatives attempted intercepts, their movements predicted and countered instantly, and as they navigated back through the dynamic environment, hazards shifting unpredictably beneath their feet, debris falling, simulated explosives detonating without warning, Lily maintained flawless composure, rhythm and clarity, ensuring the safe extraction of her team, muscles burning, lungs screaming, heart racing, mind operating at peak capacity while observers, instructors and even rival operatives stared in disbelief, murmurs of astonishment, respect and awe echoing. She anticipated every move, every decision flawless. Her calm under fire is unreal, and even rival operatives, usually aggressive and competitive, were frozen in awe, muttering, "She outmaneuvered us at every turn. Her instinct is unmatched. How does she remain so calm, so precise?" And as Lily lowered her rifle, sweat-soaked, mud streaked, muscles trembling, lungs heaving, eyes bright with quiet satisfaction, a faint, triumphant smile touched her lips. Not arrogance, but acknowledgement of mastery over chaos, danger, and unpredictability, because she had turned a scenario designed to overwhelm and break recruits into a flawless operation, demonstrating skill, instinct, leadership, and unshakable nerve. And even as adrenaline faded, anticipation surged through her veins, knowing that every victory carried weight, every mission now demanded more speed, focus and decisiveness, and with a calm, determined whisper threading through her words, humor and steel combined, "Live fire is chaos. I thrive in it," leaving every observer astonished, inspired, and certain that Lily's sharp-shot Matthews was unstoppable, untouchable, and ready for whatever the SEAL world could throw at her next. The legend of her skill, leadership, and fearlessness growing with every impossible challenge, every flawless execution, and every high-stakes victory under fire. While subtle tension lingered, hinting at even greater threats, more unpredictable missions and challenges beyond imagination, ensuring that her story was far from over and that the storm she embodied was only gathering momentum. The sun was low on the horizon, painting the SEAL training grounds in shades of gold and crimson, shadows stretching across the obstacle-laden terrain, when the instructors announced the ultimate exercise, a culmination of every skill, instinct and decision Lily's sharp-shot Matthews had mastered, a high-stakes, multi-layered mission combining live fire, simulated hostiles, environmental hazards, timed objectives, and surprise elements designed to test every aspect of a SEAL operative. And as she adjusted her gear, checked her rifle, tightened straps, and surveyed the chaotic landscape, a calm focus settled over her, muscles coiled, mind razor-sharp, heart steady, because this was more than training, it was a final proving ground, a crucible where hesitation, error, or doubt could unravel everything. And as the briefing ended, whispers rippled through observers and fellow recruits. No one has ever completed this intact. Even the best might fail under this pressure. Can she maintain control when everything goes wrong at once? Yet Lily ignored every distraction, mapping terrain in her mind, predicting rival movements, noting hazards, calculating timing and strategy, because she had learned that mastery required mental clarity as much as physical skill. And when the alarm blared, plunging the training zone into orchestrated chaos, smoke, simulated explosions, rival operatives maneuvering unpredictably, collapsing scaffolding, shifting obstacles, Lily moved like a force of nature, muscles firing, lungs steady, heart racing, instinct guiding every action, pivoting, sliding, vaulting, neutralizing threats with surgical precision, all while coordinating teammates in flawless synchronization, because hesitation could mean failure. And almost immediately the first major obstacle emerged. A partially collapsed building with unstable flooring, enemy operatives hidden at multiple levels, and environmental hazards shifting without warning, and Lily adapted. Instantly recalculating movement, issuing rapid commands, maintaining cohesion, guiding teammates through every narrow passage, over every gap, under every beam, vaulting, sliding, pivoting, all with fluid, precise control, while rival operatives scrambled in disbelief at her foresight. And as they advanced, chaos intensified. Smoke obscured vision, simulated explosive traps detonated unpredictably, rival squads attempted flanking maneuvers from all angles, and yet Lily moved with surgical accuracy, neutralizing threats, predicting enemy movement, adjusting strategy in real time, muscles burning, lungs heaving, heart pounding, mind operating at maximum clarity, because this was the ultimate test of instinct, leadership, and precision. And when they reached the high-value objective, surrounded by hostile operatives, environmental hazards, and unpredictable terrain, Lily calculated every angle, every move, every timing element with perfect clarity, leading her team in synchronized motion, neutralizing threats, securing the objective, and preparing for extraction while rival operatives attempted desperate intercepts, all countered instinctively, flawlessly, and as they navigated back through shifting